Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my post-Banlist Rescue Ace deck profile. I played this deck at locals on Wednesday. The locals were still in the current TCG format, however I opted to play the deck with one airlifter, which is the new consistency hit, just to see how the deck felt, etc. And yeah, in 4 rounds I went 3-1. Just a really small locals, just wanted to test the consistency and how it played with the one ear lifter, and trying out a new build to compensate, to see if there's any slots you can fill in, and see if you can mess around with ratios to see how it sort of felt in general, especially because I expect the next couple of weeks before the next two sets we have is pretty much like a Fire King meta. I still think this deck has a place into the current format post Banlist and into the new year as well, especially with Phantom Nightmare dropping. I still think this deck definitely has a place in the meta game, so I kind of wanted to keep myself up to date with the deck, make sure I can play it properly for the tournaments ahead. And yeah, I'll just do a deck profile. I have a couple of changes that I might make, and I'll suggest those at the end of the video. I didn't bring my camera with me at locals, but if you guys want to see some Rescue Ace locals gameplay, I can play that on the weekend, and so expect some videos of some Rescue Ace gameplay with the new updated iteration of the deck post Banlist at my locals. Of course, the Banlist doesn't come into effect to the 1st of January, and my locals are still playing current format, but I will be playing one year later in the deck to see how consistent it is and how the end boards vary. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into the list. Thank you for all the support recently on the channel. It's been really amazing. So if you guys want to see some more deck profiles going into the new year, especially with the next couple of sets coming up, subscribe, all that good stuff, and you get to see some gameplay at my locals as well. So the deck is 42 cards, of course with one airlifter, as we'll get in now. So if we start off with the engine, it'll be the 3 impulse, 2 airlifter, sorry, the 3 impulse, 1 fire attacker. I don't play fire engine, so in my opinion, I'm playing more non-engine, so this card provides a lot of value, especially when you go first as well. Being able to emergency summon this and just draw 2 cards, discard 1, filter 3 deck, draw more hand traps, just gives you so much value, especially in the format now where a lot of the decks have such a low sort of power level, because we're post Banlist, going into the new year before the new sets. Everything has a fairly low power level. So just getting loads of value for non-engine off this is really important. You can obviously get into engine with this on your opponent's turn, but honestly, that doesn't necessarily do anything. It guarantees you have an emergency in your hand to start your turn, which can be valuable depending on the matchup. But personally, I'd just rather get the draw 2, discard 1, especially because I'm playing so much non-engine in this deck. And then for the rest of the engine, playing the 1 airlifter, 1 rotor. Playing 3 hydrant now, so obviously a lot of people playing 2 in the last format pre the ban list, but I think 3 is probably necessary now just to give the deck a bit more consistency. And then we're still playing the 2 turbulence and a 2 preventer as well, along with all the standard spell and trap cards. I don't think we change any of these. Some people saying you cut this, but honestly, this card just comes up so much, and it gives you the ground game. I think one of the benefits and one of the incentives to play Rescue Ace is the fact that you can set for decently strong back row, and then being able to reset them is just pretty good. So that's pretty much it for the Rescue Ace engine. And then moving on to the rest of the engine. Playing 2 witch. I don't want to play 3 this card. I think because we're playing, like, you get to see in a minute, we're playing prosperity, etc. And 3 hydrant. So there's no point in playing maxing out this, because this can only get you 1 target. It's only getting you a hydrant. So if you have multiples of your wanted engine, and then you already have a hydrant in hand, this card necessarily isn't doing much. Obviously, it's nice to force your opponent to interact with this engine first before committing your Rescue Ace engine. That, I think, again, that's one of the incentives to play this deck, because it's really hard to predict what you have in hand, or for your opponent to predict what you have in hand. So leading with this engine and having them interact with it, being able to to play with your Rescue Ace engine next is, or the follow-up, it's still really strong, but again, there's only one target you summon off this, which is the Hydrant post Phantom Nightmare. So having this is fine, and obviously two, you could play one, but I always like having a second in the deck, especially as the deck is slightly more fragile now. I'd rather just, and the math works out just to see the one. And then for the rest of the deck, we're literally just playing 3 Prosperity, because it's still probably the best card in the game. I think this card is probably necessary for this deck because it lets you outplay and lets you dig for an emergency. You would expect your opponents to take out the Drawn Lot Birds post game 1, so it lets you outplay your opponent by digging for this, digging for the emergency, being able to play the Turbulence and obviously dodge that targeting interaction they might have set or in hand. And then for the hand traps, just playing 3 Imperm, 3 Veiler, 3 Ash, and 3 Joel. These 9 are probably the most generic into such a wide meta game. Droll, because my locals is filled with like Dark World and Fire King and Infernoble, etc. So I always like having this deck in my locals. Again, this could potentially be a Nibiru, but it depends how. It depends what you're playing. It depends what tournament you're playing, and I still think Nibiru is like a really good card. But even post Banlist, I think this card is probably necessary in the main deck. But I guess we'll see how the format sort of shapes up. But for now, I'm really liking Droll in the main deck. It catches people off guard. You don't really play around it game 1, so you can catch your opponent off, and obviously then being able to turn skip and then play your turn and set 4 is really powerful. So yeah, happy with this non-engine for now. So it's 42 cards in the main. It's a pretty clean main deck. Can't lie, there's not many bricks going on, and it seems pretty clean. For the gameplay that I played on Wednesday, the deck felt really consistent. You're not playing the Infernoble Ricardetto and the Durandal anymore. You're kind of just playing it as Rescue Ace was before the Sinful Spore stuff. So, but I'll show the actual deck anyway. So obviously we're still playing the Proxy F Magician, Mud Dragon, and the Dweller, because this combo is still relevant because of the prevalence of Fire King. So I'm still comfortable playing this in the extra deck. And then for the Charmers, it's literally just Heater, Dark, and then we're playing the double SPs. You could probably get away with playing one at the moment because we're not playing the Baron combo with Assault. So you could probably get away with playing the one, and then we've got Masquerader, and then of course the whole the Sunlight Wolf Heat Soul, and then Appaloosa, Celine, Ninkaribo, and then Typhon as well. So a pretty standard extra deck. Honestly, none of this changes post Banlist, but you could potentially cut this out for another utility card. Maybe like a Nightmare Phoenix comes up, so maybe that's a decent alternative for this. And then for the side deck is 2 Judgment, 1 Call By, our back row Hate for the mirror match, 3 Talents, 3 Nibiru, and 3 Bell as well. So a very cookie cutter side deck. So obviously I like Bell for the Labyrinth matchup as well. Also can work against the Fire King matchup. Talents is insanely good for going first against those hand trap decks. Normally like going first, depending on what the matchup is, I'm taking out impermanences, and normally like low impact hand traps and putting these 6 in. And then the rest of this is the matchup dependent, but these 6 cards here are really powerful for going first. But yeah, that's pretty much just the list. Really cookie cutter. Fire Engine is great, but I don't think it's necessary. I'd just rather play the Fire Attacker because it's just gives you more value, especially when you're trying to dig into your deck. But that's it for the deck, guys. So if you want to see me play this deck at locals, playing the deck post Banlist, but obviously in the current format, and then obviously post Banlist when it comes into effect on January 1st, let me know. I'm happy to get some games recorded with you guys. Thanks for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.